at Islington Station.
Light.
Hey folks, today is Wednesday, March 12th. It is 3:44 p.m. and it's about 15 degrees colder than it was this time yesterday. Yesterday we had temperatures of 14 degrees Celsius, and right now it is -1. That was Islington Station I just climbed out of, which opened back in May of 1968. Originally serving as the terminus of Line 2 on the western end. That was extended one stop west, which is in that direction, over to Kipling Station in the year I was born, in 1980. And this is the intersection of Islington and Bloor Street. And that's a look to the north. But today we're going to be walking south down Islington for a little over 2.5 kilometers down to the Queensway. I've only ever covered a few small stretches of Islington on this channel in a prior video. And you might already be able to see why that is. But this area is in Etobicoke. And more specifically, this is Islington City Centre. And this is a major arterial in Etobicoke going north-south. It begins at Lakeshore Boulevard to the south of here, and it runs north all the way up into York Region. It runs for about 30 kilometers. I think think it gets as far as Highway 427, or rather Highway 27. This section is very residential. A number of those homes are boarded up over there. That one has a doctor's office in it. The area just to the southwest of here is kind of commercial and industrial. There's a lot of warehouses and that sort of thing, and an old rail line that runs through there. I think it would be quite noisy to live on a street like this. A lot of fast-moving vehicles. Backing your vehicle out of the driveway wouldn't be a whole lot of fun. But if you look at the city of Toronto from Google Maps, you'll see a lot of major streets. In Etobicoke, North York, East York, and a lot of the former boroughs. And you might think, why doesn't Johnny cover them more than he does? Well, because most of them look kind of like this. There's not a whole lot of what you could call urbanism. This is really an old suburb. The walk scores in these areas are quite low compared to more built-up areas. For transit, you really just have line 2 for rapid transit, which is north of here where I just came from. And there's buses that are relatively frequent going up and down these streets. Kipling being major arterial west of here, with York being the one to the east. Those high-rises off in the distance are clustered around Islington Station. This street, Islington Avenue, was first surveyed back in 1799. It was originally known as Middle Road. That predates the formation of the city of Toronto. And according to Wikipedia, which I was looking up on my way over here, Islington has evolved from a rural route to a vibrant urban roadway. I don't know about the word vibrant. There's pockets of retail. In places, we'll be going by a few strip malls, but for the most part, that's what it is. Whether you go north or south of where I started. Although Islington Village, which is quite neat and features a number of really interesting murals amongst the different shops and businesses in that area, is just north of where I started here, along Dundas. But much of Etobicoke looks kind of like this. So we are firmly in anti-bike lane country. This is where a lot of the anti-bike lane rhetoric started. And it's people in this area that convinced our premier to quite wrongfully act to remove the bike lanes along Bloor Street and University and Yonge Street. Despite all the statistics showing they don't impact congestion, they increase businesses, they increase business, they don't decrease emergency vehicle response times, or increase them for that matter. for a huge net win on the city, but when you live in an area like this and you feel entitled to drive through the city and the sight of a cyclist angers you, well, you got to get your pitchforks out against something. It's very much a case of if you build it, they will come. If you don't connect the area to the greater bicycle network, you're never really going to get any traction. And they're just starting to do that by extending the bike lanes across Bloor Street, which would allow for north-south connections on roads like this. We're trying to kill that before they even get started, which is supremely unfortunate. Particularly fond of parts of the city that are like this. They're kind of barren and sterile and void of life. The idea of living in a big city but still needing your vehicle just to go anywhere, to go to a store, is borderline depressing in my books. There's a park across the street, and I think that connects to a school. I wandered through there in a prior video. But we've got some plazas coming up. There's the Islington Parquet. World-renowned parquet. Said nobody. It's not all bad like this in Etobicoke. The area south of here along Lakeshore Boulevard is quite built up. And there's even streetcar service, as well as Islington Village, and there's a few other neat pockets, but for the most part, this is what you get. I know a few people who live out here. And they do it because their work is close by. And both of them actually ride their bikes to work. Hey, we've got a plaza. James Maloney, Member of Parliament, Etobicoke Lakeshore. Rainbow Convenience, Power Yoga Canada. You know you're in a car-centric area when you've got a big parking lot like this separating the stores from the sidewalk. Burger legend, proudly Canadian. Interesting going into the grocery store and just seeing how many people are paying attention to the labels and going out of their way and even spending more, even during tough times, to buy Canadian or at least non-American stuff. This is Advance Road. VDG, vehicledirect.ca. Luxury motor cars. I don't hear the term motor car very often. The last time I walked by this lounge was under construction. Ursac Lounge. I think that was in November or December. Doesn't look to be open. So we should be about halfway there. Buy Canadian, there's a second cup. It's a chain that's kind of fallen off in recent times. They've rebranded and got a fairly new logo. It's the old one on the side. As we get to Norseman Street. Drive-through, bank drive-through. So Etobicoke is a western district in Ontario. To the south we've got Lake Ontario, the city of Mississauga. To the west, which is where I grew up, it's bordered by Steeles Avenue to the north and separated from the old city of Toronto by the Humber River, which is east of here. Apparently, Etobicoke is a Mississauga word, Etobicoke, meaning place where the alders grow. You can tell I'm obviously just reading this as I looked it up. It was first recorded by a French explorer back in the 1600s. It was settled by Europeans in the 1790s. It became part of the York Township in 1791. It was later incorporated into a borough in 1967, and then it was folded into the city of Toronto during the megacity amalgamation in '98. There's a home for sale, 1044A. I guess that's how you would say. You wouldn't say I live at 1044A or 1044A. That sounds awkward. When I get to the Queensway, I'm gonna wrap this one up, and I think I'm going to start a live stream, and I'm going to head over to Royal York and walk north back up to Bloor Street. There's the 110B. We're about to hit bunch of plazas on the right. maybe, as a 110B goes by. Come on, I'm trying to time how long. There we go. I got a stopwatch running. So add maybe 10 or 15 seconds to that, but we'll see how long it takes the next 110B to roll by. Let's look at the stores. That mall, or strip mall. Brick oven pizza. We've made it to Titan Road. They've got a beer town out here. There's one of these downtown. On the edge of the financial district. A lot of these streets are big employment centers. There's lots of just large businesses on them. I think the next street to the south of here is the bigger one. Its name is escaping me at the moment. You can see Aura at College Park, right in the heart of downtown, at the end of, well, it appears to be at the end of the hydro fields, but it's much further than that. Mike and Matt's Wing Emporium Sports Bar. We got a McDee's. Healthy Planet. Save the date, March 20 to 23rd, Healthy Planet Etobicoke anniversary sale. I'll circle that date on my calendar. I remember pulling into the 7-Eleven once, and I had to pre-authorize my credit card and it rejected it. I needed to fill up, so I went around the corner to an Esso over on Kipling. And my card worked fine. Ah, this is it, Jutland Road. This is a really interesting road to take a walk along. See all kinds of people on foot going to and from work. There's stretches where there's no sidewalks. I guess it's a little bit before the afternoon rush hour right now. There's Holy Angels Catholic School, and there's a major film studio just off in that direction east of here. southbound Pickling bus. Someone riding their bike on the sidewalk. You almost can't blame them in a part of town like this. And as much as I hate multi-use trails, as I think cyclists and pedestrians should never be mixing, in an area like this with relatively low pedestrian volume and such a need to build and expand our bike lane network, provided with a premier who is meddling in the City of Toronto's business, who is quite anti-bike lane, I think an area like this would be ripe for a multi-use trail. Be kind of a nice compromise as we walk by Queensway Baptist Church. There's a really interesting home. All right, we've had another bus. It was only about 6.5 minutes later. So frequency is quite good. Bus is heading down to Lakeshore Boulevard. Well-preserved snow on this guy's lawn. If you are a motorist, it's a fairly convenient place to live. You've got the highway right there, the Gardner Expressway. That connects to the Queen Elizabeth Expressway, just a few minutes west of here, along with Highway 427. That'll take you up to 401 and towards the 410 and 403. Pearson Airport is a quick drive from here. Sherway Mall is a quick drive to the west. You can just hop on the highway and get there in no time. Queensway here is quite convenient. There's a big IKEA and a movie theater just west of here as well. This is Bradbrook Road. There's been a fair bit of construction and intensification along the Queensway. There's a new condo that's gone up. I think that's one of the fake houses. Looks like a house, but it's really probably owned by Toronto Hydro. There's a number of fake homes like that throughout the city. And here we are at the Queensway, which east of here in Parkdale becomes Queen Street. theater is actually right across the street behind this development. That theater sprung up after they closed the Sherway Gardens theaters at the mall to the west of here. There we go, a walk from Islington subway station south down Islington to the Queensway. Could keep going south and cross the bridge and head down into Long Branch. But I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. If you wish to support what I do, there's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. I've got an Instagram account at Johnny Strides, and there is a super thanks button there down below if you wish to say thanks that way. Anywho, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Yoink!